Thursday.
That's Thursday?
Yeah, mine
At
comes out
1:31.
funky looking like that.
I was able to look at it earlier, but yeah, the formatting is not right on my
On
phone.
the email, right.
Right.
But at least we
This
should
is
be able
ready to
to
go.
text.
And I don't have the original files on my computer,
right.
not on here, but I can.
Tim Sattler's going to call the meeting to order.
All right, it being 5:30 p.m. on June 26th, 2023, the Tilton Northfield Fire and EMS Building Committee meeting, calling it to order. We're currently at the Tilton Police Station. Those present include myself, the chief, Lisa Martin, Dennis Manning, Nathan,
Langione.
say it one more time?
Langione.
Langione, Kevin Waldron, and Paul Blaisdell on the phone. Paul, I don't know if you got a copy of the minutes there, I mean the agenda there in front of you.
I do have a copy of the agenda. So it looks like the minutes were from the 5/22 meeting.
Yes.
Has everyone had an opportunity to review those minutes?
I have, people are holding them in their hand, and
Oh, we'll take a minute and review them.
so Paul, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the May 22nd meeting as sent out,
I'll second that.
seconded by Dennis.
Is there any discussion on the minutes? All those in favor of accepting them as written, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, sounds like we all agree that the minutes are accurate. Thank you, Beth. The next item is public comment. I assume since there's no public present that there's no comment.
I would say that would be correct.
Okay. Item 4 is correspondence. Chief, has there been any correspondence?
No.
Okay. Item 5, old business. Review draft article for the Northfield newsletter. So, Nate, thank you very much for all your efforts on that. I guess we'll go ahead and open discussion on the wording of the article for the newsletter. Any comments or anything?
I just replied with, I put, so what Lisa made, I replied to either Lisa or Nate at the same time, I guess. I don't know, whoever sent, I know it came from Lisa because she did like the graphic design of it.
Right.
Nate did most of the wording,
I
but
did
then
wording.
she put it in something that looked pretty nice, and all I did was add our logo in the top left corner.
I just double check, I'm not in receipt of it for this.
You're not. What I have, the problem is when you added the logo, you made a PDF, right? No, you
Yes, I didn't,
No.
I left it in
For
Word.
some reason on my phone, it's coming out garbage. But on the computer, I'm sure it's not.
It looked fine on my computer.
I had the same problem. It's not formatted very well for a cell phone visual, so I haven't been able to see the final version on a computer.
So what you
The
need
wording
to,
is really what I was most interested in.
so if you open the document in Google Docs and then you go to the settings, you can set it to print layout, and that will show it correctly formatted. So, do you all have iPhones?
Yeah.
Okay, I have an Android. So.
Oh, that's why you got Google. I've got mine, it opens, it should open in Word.
Yeah, but it should
I'm
be
not touching
something
my
simple.
phone because I don't want to lose Paul.
I bet if I save it to a file.
Go back out and say we need to talk to somebody about that.
There were several things I liked about what Lisa did with it, cleaned it up a little bit. And I liked the preference to direct people to the website, but now that also means we have to update some stuff on the website because there isn't a place where you can see what you know, the members of the committee.
That's kind of a problem. We're in the middle of moving to a new website, and so the new website is supposed to be up and totally running by October, but right now we're still on the old website, which is very difficult to manage. We can add documents to it, links to things, but to change any pictures or make it longer is extremely, we basically just can't do it.
Do you guys have like the access and permissions to make those changes?
Kathy does.
Because I mean, I've made websites, so I could probably go in there and just update like the HTML and the CSS code to, you know, add an additional like tab to the list.
Yeah.
So
So maybe you can do that. If you get in touch with Kathy and sit down with her, she might be able to do it, but I know it's something that we can't do right now.
okay.
But she can adjust, like, we can't change any pictures, or it's too odd to change pictures.
Yeah, so it's one of those things where like
Same.
if it's
Yeah,
a
it's just the borders.
like level of effort and knowledge thing, it might be relatively easy for like me to make that change in like a couple of days or like a week. But if it's a like, oh, you have to reach out to like this, you know, vendor and they have to like then, yeah, because obviously if you're transitioning, no one wants to spend the time and the money on the deprecated product. But yeah, so I'll reach out to Kathy about
I
that.
know my wife does her own website, she uses something called like Wix or something like that, and she's able to do whatever she wants with it, but I don't know what this is.
Yeah, no, these days, like WordPress and, you know, so many of those, like, just GUI, build your own website, you know, business portal things, make it really easy, but when
This
there's
is-
something
this is
more robust,
legacy
it's more
stuff.
complicated,
Yeah, this is very much a legacy thing. If you look at the pictures, none of the vehicles in the picture, we don't even have anymore.
So, Paul, just to bring you up to date, and Derek, who just walked into the room, Derek, we're discussing the verbiage that you might have seen in the emails in regards to the newsletter.
I just sent a screenshot. I was able to open it in Word and then, I don't know if you're all getting it right now. That way the format will see it.
So I guess my only concern was, I like the idea of it pointing to a website versus having the information in the actual statement itself. But if that doesn't exist, or isn't something that will exist, you know, prior to this issue going out, maybe it is worth, you know, including the names of the committee
Just
members
sent it as
in
a
the actual
screenshot.
flyer.
Did you get it? Did
Sure.
you get it?
Because I'm not receiving the original.
Or would it be, could we put it over there on that
I
side
can't even see
banner?
who I sent it.
It's just a list of members.
I mean, we could do an additional banner on the right-hand side potentially.
Does anyone have any familiarity with the, I'm looking at Kevin, what would provide Northfield in format, or do they have everything already pre-formatted so they can just drop it into their newsletter, or are they able to format what we send them?
So up to the evening before is when they finalize everything, and I believe it's all done in Word, but it would probably be safe to include just an image of the emblem as well as the text on its own, as well as the finished product, depending on what they might use or what might be easier for them to fit into their product.
So you weren't on the list.
Well, honestly, I agree. I think it was Nate that mentioned that we should not be putting links to a website that doesn't have the information that we're supposedly linking to. So how much longer will it make this? I mean, this to me it's only basically a 3-sentence, 3-paragraph.
It's a half a page.
Yeah. So I was told there is no word count or page or limit or anything like that, because it's not the newspaper. Their thing can go as long as there's information for. So we could
They're
do
sending
a
it
whole
out
page.
as an email, so it doesn't matter how many pages it is.
Right, but if you look at their format, you've got the Pines has a page, a lot of places have a half a page. I don't know if we need a full page. I get what you're saying is they don't know who the committee is, but when you list everybody's name, it makes it
Yeah, no, it does
verbose.
double the amount of space on the page.
I was just wondering if over on the left-hand column, you just list members.
And move the other stuff back. I had on that column, I put that they had one open seat and they're interested, just to kind of make it a block. I mean, I'm okay with, it changes the format, it would just make it longer. I mean, in the past, we've never put everybody's name on, well, we have on reports, right? But they go to the website, they see the report. Is there any, we're running out of time, is there any reason we can't have a one-page, like we have minutes, or you'll see reports on the website, but your website's, it's not down, it's still up.
No, it's still up and running. We can link this to the minutes, this document, whatever we make as a
Right.
document, we can link it to the minutes, so when they look at the minutes, they'll see that document as well, if they want to.
But we could have a one-page thing that, like, I was thinking we were going to develop a mission statement. If we had a mission statement and had everybody's name under it, you could have that document where the reports are and say the building.
So we'll probably have our own tab with the new website. It'll have our own tab, but right now.
But in the
it's-
meantime, couldn't we just do a one-pager that says, these are the current, this is our mission statement, and then just list the current members underneath it, and that's it. Description of building committee.
it would be-
Where the meeting minutes are?
Or
Just
or
add
where you
another
have the
one.
little
It
report
would just
or
be a
meeting
link.
minutes.
You wouldn't see it unless you clicked on it as a
Right,
link. Yeah.
but that's, I would think they do that anyway. Right, if you go to look for meeting minutes, you're clicking on it, so I was just thinking if we did something brief, for now, until we have,
So I mean, looking at the meeting minutes page, there's the commission meeting section and text, and then the meeting minutes section and text, and then it actually lists all the links to the videos. Could we add, another section there, such as building committee meetings, and then we could, list membership there.
I think so, but I would talk to Kathy.
Okay.
When is the new website expected?
October. It's in the development phase right now, it's in design, and they're collecting all the content, and they're doing the design right now. I have seen the rough draft of the design, so we've kind of set the design, the way it's kind of, the colors and where buttons are and all that kind of stuff. That's the process we're in right now, and I think kind of, now we're starting to move on past that, and they're starting to populate content in, but it's got a ways to go before it's ready.
I have a simple suggestion, where we say for more information on the building committee, you could say, please see the minutes on please see building committee
Meetings.
because it's going to show who's been at meetings, and then that gives us time to develop something so that we have just a one-pager. You click on the building committee link, and you have the list of the committee members. And I think we need a mission statement. What's our goal? What's our overall? Which we sort of started working on, that we want something to pass it. I don't know, we need to do some wording, right? We want to meet the needs of the fire department. Well, I don't know, we need to make up the wording. So if we agree to that, that would allow, you've been coordinating, Nate, with Stephanie?
Yes.
That would allow us to send her a file and find out whether she wants Word, PDF. I'm guessing she wants a JPEG or a TIFF, but I don't know that.
Yeah, no, I was thinking it'd probably be safe to, send her everything individually as well as sending like a, JPEG or PDF of the, finished product, so that way she can use that or build her own, within the newsletter, depending on what's easier.
I know when she asks me to send her stuff that she publishes, she wants it in Word,
Okay.
not PDF, Word.
Well, that's easy, it's in Word.
Yeah.
So are we suggesting we just tweak that one sentence where it says for more information on the building committee, please see building committee meeting minutes, which are available at www.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
I mean, it's a simple fix, but everybody we need to basically vote on the wording that, or everybody needs to read it and agree it. Go ahead.
Can I throw something out there? I think that the whole purpose of this is to kind of get out into the public what we're doing, right? And this is summarizing a tremendous amount of work that the committee's done into a very short couple paragraphs, couple sentences. I think in order to attract additional and encourage additional conversation, I think the real purpose of this is to make it known what we're doing and who we are, such that people that have questions can contact us and discuss what we're doing and why we're doing it. And my fear is that if we make people jump through 2 or 3 hoops in order to find out something as simple as who's on the committee and who I should be talking to with my questions, it's just going to get, they're going to drift away and not even find out who they should be asking that question to or having a conversation with. So I really would like to try to make it as simple as possible to get that information to the people that want to, and that we want to encourage that conversation with. So if there's any way we can either make it part of this document or make it only one step away from this document, I would encourage that. Once we start getting into 2 steps or 3 steps away, then I think we're going to lose people.
So we could add an additional bullet point above the, fire station building committee meeting, just listing, committee members and then everyone's name, just comma separated, so that would only be one, maybe, 2 lines. And then at least that way, the names are out there as far as, someone walking by and starting a conversation, potentially.
Yeah, can I ask a question, Paul? It's your intent that you think people should be calling us members individually and asking questions? Shouldn't they be coming to a meeting and asking the questions so we have the whole committee responding?
No, not necessarily. I mean, I would encourage them to do that. But if someone came up to me at the coffee shop and said, "Hey, Paul, you're on the building committee, but, can you give me an overview of what's going on?" I'm not going to tell them to come to the next meeting, and I'll talk with them then. I will encourage them to come to the next meeting, but I'm certainly going to have a conversation with them and explain what we're doing and why we're doing it. We're not having this conversation in a vacuum. We are certainly. I encourage every one of you to talk to every person that you come across, every resident, to tell them what you're doing and why you're doing it. We certainly have the right, and I mean, we have it's part of us being members of this committee to take what we're doing out into the community and make sure that everybody knows what's going on.
Okay.
I mean, that makes sense. We have a responsibility to socialize the change that we're trying to implement.
It's not like we're making a decision or affecting.
Right.
I talk to everybody.
So you think somewhere we should be in this, we should list the committee members?
Yeah, I do. I really do.
Okay.
You don't have to necessarily say a resident of Tilton or a resident of Northfield. I think anybody, I think that's information easily determined if people are confused about that, but I think we should get the names out.
Is what I'm looking at here, an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper?
I don't think it's that big.
Yes, and what I just sent, you'll see it takes up almost over a half of the sheet. Is that what you're saying?
Okay, so that leaves half the sheet for anything else you want to put, for you doing the whole page.
Yeah, you want to do a whole page.
So there should be no issue with a hell of a lot more information if you want to put it there rather than...
Yeah.
I thought this was I thought this was a screenshot of one piece of paper. I thought that was this.
It is.
But it's only
There's the
half.
blank, there's the blank part, and then it has the yellow stuff that's not.
Okay. All right.
So there's room. We
So
can
there's
make-
plenty of room.
We can make it into one page. So I guess the question is, where are we adding, you had a suggestion of adding the committee members right after we say the TNFD Fire Station Building Committee? Or you want to put it where you had had it in the end? Maybe it had them listed somewhere. Unfortunately, I didn't print it. I should have printed it.
Yeah, so previously I had the committee members between the next steps paragraph and the if you have questions paragraph. But we could, and I have listed everyone out individually, one per line, but we could condense it and then just do a comma separated list almost anywhere in the document.
So if we got rid of the for more information on the building committee and instead said, just have building committee members and colon and then a list, that would work. And it could put, they can be side by side, name, just to kind of make it fit, right? Would that work? And then after that, it would say fire station building committee meeting, 7:10.
That works for me.
Okay.
Right. Send it to, You have the basic
I have the
format.
basic format.
Did you
Well,
get
everybody has a basic format. I got your thing that you inserted
the logo?
the logo in.
So you should be able to
I
keep
should be
that.
able to, yes, and I'll just, because I've got it in like a table format, I just gotta
format
stretch
it.
things.
Yeah.
Or like, hopefully I can do it without everything going on. Sometimes you do that and pictures go wherever, but no problem.
All right, then you can, send it to me or Nate, and Nate will contact Stephanie, send it to Stephanie, because he's like the kind of contact for Stephanie. And you can contact Kathy and talk about adjusting the
Websites.
website stuff, because that's up here on me.
Now, should we be reading this whole thing? No.
So is everyone in agreement on that? On that new layout?
The general consensus of nodding heads seems to say so.
When does this go to print?
Friday.
Friday.
This week?
Yep. It goes out the last Friday of the month, every month, so.
So I'll try to get it done either tonight or tomorrow morning. And I'll send it to Nate.
Hey,
Or I could send it to everybody, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter, right?
It doesn't matter, no.
Okay, I just don't want, okay. I'll send it to everybody, but we're gonna leave it with you still coordinating with Stephanie? Or
Yeah.
you want?
Yeah,
Yes.
so you can
Because you
send
already-
everyone, I will reach out to Stephanie and then update the email chain with, what I get back from her.
Yeah, and if you need it in another format, just let me know and I can make it into whatever format you need.
Okay. Sounds good.
And how are we gonna distribute this to Tilton residents? Is there any function that will allow us to do that? Any mechanism?
So, I mean, it is listed on the Northfield website, so we could potentially, print up some bulletins and, stick them in the various bulletin boxes around town, maybe, see if
I'll
we can get some people to.
We can,
print
maybe I
those.
can talk to Jeannie Forrester and see if, or Tim Pearson, to see if there's a way of getting this information on the Tilton website.
Okay,
Because I know Tim manages their website.
There's a Tilton Northfield Facebook.
Something
That's
talking
weird,
about something.
talking. I don't do that stuff, so I don't really know.
Yeah, there's
I'm not a
There's a
Facebook
couple
person.
of, there's a lot of different Tilton, Franklin, Northfield Facebook communities, but there's 3 or 4, like 6,000 plus active ones, so.
We could certainly get it on the fire department Facebook page.
Yes.
I think, so I think if we
Oh, there you
if we get the fire department to post something, then we and other people could start sharing
A
it.
screenshot too, and if I see a Facebook, so just post a screenshot, say, hey, and then just go to the various
Yeah, I can,
pages or
we
whatnot.
can put that on our Facebook
Yeah.
page once the document's completed.
all right.
I think we
sounds
have
good.
maybe 1,000 followers on our fire department Facebook.
You guys need to start doing like TikTok dance videos between calls. Start, advertising it,
Yeah.
monetizing
So
it.
my wife says video works really good, it gives you a better push or something, I don't know, whatever they call that stuff.
People interact with it more, it is more easy to distribute. Like, everything that's viral is, 6 to, 30-second video clip these days, it seems.
I just took pictures of the boat in the water today, so searching for it.
discussion on the article?
I think we're all set.
Okay. Any other old business?
What was the turnout of the email vote to spend the 15 grand to do something over here?
Oh, that was 6-1 in favor of, and that recommendation from the building committee went to commissioners, and the commissioners moved on with that.
So they're gonna spend 15,000 to do what over here?
They're gonna evaluate that, exactly what they're gonna do at Park Street, they're gonna do over here. Evaluate the property to see what, or if they should put a fire station there, along with the space needs and all that kind of stuff.
What it does is give a cost for both.
Yeah, we'll end up with.
It also makes-
Cost, so you can,
It also makes the committee look like they hiccuped again and don't know what they're doing. We were set on a focus at one point, and then we hiccuped, we burped, we changed, we swapped. Now we're going both ways again.
Due diligence, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, when I read the report that led to the formation of this committee, they had mentioned, considering multiple locations as well as purchasing property for a new station location. I think part of it was just the fact that we already have the space that we utilize at Park Street, and there may not be enough space to put a new station there without having to remove, some or all of that existing facility.
I think by having both studies, it helps determine costs. And if you don't, then somebody's gonna say, why didn't you look at that?
I think that's the big issue. Since this has been out there, people, if we bring just this one thing to town meeting or district meeting or whatever, people will say, well, did you look at Sanborn Road?
And now we can say we did.
Now we can say we did, yes.
And who knows, maybe Park Street will come out, 50 grand cheaper, and it's the obvious choice, but it'll be good to have, data to back that decision up when we have to justify it to the public.
I think the cost data is important.
And that's what we're going to get.
Paul,
Yes?
I think we're at a point of moving on.
Okay. I don't want to cut anybody off, so I want to make sure the discussion is fully, at the end, fully exhausted. Any other old business?
Well, I thought one time, I think we said we were gonna develop a mission statement. I guess that's old business, right? Now, I don't know whether we're doing it, that's something we do tonight or the next meeting or whenever, but at some point, we should start developing it.
I mean, we could do another email chain if someone, has a proposal or, maybe
Wasn't the
a couple
mission
of days for us
statement
to all make proposals.
the charge of the commissioners?
Well, that's what it should be. But I don't know that we actually have the charge written, or do we?
Yeah.
I can go back and look at the
In the
minutes.
beginning for this?
Yeah.
And if we were gonna post something on the website, it should have the mission statement and then sort of an update as to where we are, in a little more detail than this newsletter piece. Wouldn't you think?
Yeah, I think that's what we're gonna need to do that over time. But right now, getting the initial newsletter, this works perfect.
Yeah,
I agree.
hopefully this is something we can, iterate and build on and
Yeah, have something every month.
Well, I think it'd be good to put something every month in the Northfield newsletter.
oh yeah, I mean, the more channels of communication and the, more regularity that we have with how we're sending info out, hopefully the wider audience it'll reach.
So we should be planning for, getting that sent out, working on what other verbiage needs to be, and also what's the next newsletter piece gonna look like in a month from now, so we're not waiting 3 days before the deadline and trying to figure out what we want to put in the newsletter next month.
So I think once we get more info from
Lorero,
Lorero.
we should have more info by then, because they came to meet with me today to tell me that we should have a lot more information. I told them when the next building committee was, and then the next commissioners meeting was, and they said they should have a preliminary report, not a finalized report by any stretch of the imagination, because they're still trying to schedule borings and stuff like that. But should have some type of preliminary report at the beginning, sometime in the beginning of July. And if they can get additional information, get all that crap together, hopefully maybe they'll have something together by the end of the month that would be more of a finalized report of what they're trying to do here, of what we're looking for, I should say.
Well, I think we also have the benefit of the, the schedule, the timeline where we can kind of plan ahead on what our news releases are going to be based on that schedule, so we can kind of, maybe preemptively prepare at least an outline of what the newsletter article might say based on schedule.
Yeah, so we would need to make a decision on the August edition at the July 24th meeting. So maybe try and have a rough draft by the meeting on the 10th, so that way we can discuss, make changes, get vote. And it should go smoother now that we have a template and we'll understand the process.
Just changing text. But we probably, like you said, we won't see their report till the 10th, so we're really not going to have a draft of the newsletter until maybe the 10th, right?
Yeah.
Maybe if I get a preliminary report issued to me, that's worthy of publishing, I don't know what it's gonna look like. If it's, whatever I get, if it's worth sending out, I'll send it out to everybody so that everybody can see it.
And then we can discuss it on the 10th.
Yep.
Where it's being summer, sometimes now sending emails, people are here, there, everywhere, and may not,
Yeah.
may not respond. Okay,
You would think it's summer.
it's gonna be summer.
It just started like 2 days ago.
It did.
Officially.
Yeah.
Officially, yeah.
We got warm
I
weather.
almost feel bad, we had uncannily warm weather the whole time I was over in Scotland. 17 days of hot weather. And sun, they were like,
It rained here all 17 days, I'm sure. It probably felt like Scotland. Yeah.
16 of 17.
Yeah.
Okay, so with respect to a mission statement, Chief, you're going to see if there was anything similar to that in previous documentation.
Yes, I'm going to check into that.
I think basically what the commissioners, what their request of the building committee was at the very beginning, I think is going to be pretty close to what our mission is essentially. So,
From what I recall, and I don't go by the exact words, but I think the commissioners, the mission statement of the committee from the commissioners was to make a recommendation to the commissioners on what they thought a fire station should be and where it should be located. But I don't have the right, exact words, but something to that effect,
And that's in a commissioner meeting minutes somewhere.
probably, yeah.
So
I'll have to go back
can
and look at it.
you can dig it up?
Yeah, it's
We'll
gonna take-
assign that to you.
going to take a few minutes. Yeah.
Well, that was sort of whatever the outcome was of the last committee that made the recommendation, right?
Yeah, see, I joined this committee, you guys had already been meeting, so I'm in the middle. I was on the old committee, then I was away for quite some time, and then came back in midstream.
But those sort of happen one right after the other, right? Kevin, you finished up that first committee, which stated to
One
recommend.
location at Park Street.
And then how long after that was
Oh, you
that
had
charge
COVID
made?
and all of that.
Yeah, we had COVID
We had
in the middle.
COVID, and I disappeared for a while.
Yeah, during COVID, we really didn't do anything. Except hide in our houses. Some people did.
I'm sure the TNFD did a lot during that time period.
We didn't have too many community meetings, I can guarantee you that.
All right, so the chief will have that for the next bi-weekly meeting.
Yeah.
Or bi-monthly meeting. And so the next item on the agenda is new business. Is there any new business before the committee? Okay, and any other business in general, I guess?
Is it summer where you are?
Oh my God, is it summer? Oh geez, yeah, it's high 80s, low 90s, and it's 95 to 100% humidity.
We're
It's,
gonna keep that.
it is nasty.
That's a little too warm.
It's very warm. You give yourself 30 minutes and you're soaked from knees to shoulders in sweat. Yeah. It's not pleasant by any means. And there's no air conditioning in the brand new factory. So to them it's just another day in paradise. To me it's brutal, but just keep putting the water to it.
Yeah. Stay hydrated.
That's it. Rice wine and water. Mostly water. Okay, so I guess that's it for other business. Our next meeting is July 10th at 5:30. And will that also be at the police station in Tilton, Chief?
It's gonna be here until further notice because they're doing a big lead abatement reconstruction project at the Tilton Town Hall.
Okay. So the next meeting is July 10th at 5:30 at the Northfield PD.
Nope.
Tilton.
Tilton PD, sorry. No, I was just checking, make sure you guys were listening. Okay, well, thank you all for your participation and commitment to this project. And I guess I'll make a motion to adjourn at 6:12 p.m.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Well, everybody have a good evening and enjoy summertime in New England.
That's the plan. Thank you, Paul.
All right, take care all. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Summertime. 95 and 100% humidity every day.
Always look at that stuff on it.